Hi guys, it's Mena, and today in this video I'm going to tell you guys a story of from when I first learned how to knit. And I've been meaning to do this video for a while, but I kept forgetting, so I'm finally doing it today, so I'm going to get started. So I first wanted to learn how to knit when I was 12 years old. Well, because, I don't know, I saw my grandma knit one time, my dad's mom, but actually she didn't knit, but I've seen a lot of other people knit, and it looked like fun. Like after I first learned how to crochet, I saw people knitting, and I thought it would be fun to try. And I actually wanted to learn again because I thought my grandma, my dad's mom, knitted, but she didn't. I must have saw someone else knitting and thought it was my grandma or something. And I tried to learn at a local yarn shop downtown, but the lady never had time for me. And then I met this nurse in the hospital that I was in. We were gonna have her teach me, but she never had time to do it. And every time she'd go to teach me, I'd be sleeping and stuff by the time she'd try to go to teach me. And then the summer that I finished chemo and I was still bald, I was up in Massachusetts visiting some friends with my mom, and my mom's friend actually taught me how to knit. And I pretty much picked it up really, really quickly, much to my surprise. And my first project right here was this scarf I made for this teddy bear, and I actually purled and this is the first time I learned how to purl. I didn't know this was purling until my mom's friend told me. This right here was my first project I've ever knitted. It was so fun to knit. It was really simple because it was like a teddy bear scarf and it was really short. And I just had a good time knitting. She just went through it really quickly, really well with me. She showed me what I needed to do and showed me how to cast on and everything. It was great. I just had so much fun. And I also made a blanket, but I have no idea where it went. And that was my second project. And then after I learned how to knit, I started to buy a bunch of knitting books. One of the first knitting books I bought was a Klutz knitting book. A lot of you guys have seen it in my channel. That was the first knitting book I ever bought, I think. And I really liked that book because I still actually have it. It's not in the best condition because I've had it since 7th grade, but I love that book. It was like the easiest knitting book for me. Please ignore that. That was my phone. And it had great step-by-step and fun ways to learn how to knit. It was really cool. And once I got better, I started doing scarves. When I first started crocheting scarves, I'd make them way too short. But when I knitted scarves, I would just knit them all the way up to my whole body. And I had a lot of fun knitting scarves. I knit striped scarves. I knit regular scarves. I've knitted hats too, but my hats didn't end up like the pattern that they showed in the books because I was still doing the garter stitch at the time, which is basic knit every row. This is the garter stitch right here. That was a stitch I still kept doing, and I didn't know the difference between knitting and purling. And when I was looking at my book, I thought it's, let me show you my Klutz knitting book when I can find it, if I can find it. Yeah, my tongue is twisted. So this is one of my first knitting books that I pretty much bought. I've had it for a really long time. And this was such a fun book. This was super easy for me because it had step-by-step on how to knit, step-by-step on the pictures, the hats and stuff. It was a really, really fun, this is a really fun book. I suggest this book if you're a beginner knitter because this is a pretty fun book that teaches you how to knit. And sorry if it's not in the best condition. I've had it since 7th grade. I got it from Barnes & Noble when Barnes & Noble was still in business. That's my phone. when it was still in business. And I really like this book because it's got like a great pictures of showing you how to knit. And funny story, when I first learned how to knit in the knit, and when I was looking at the pictures in this book, well, let me show you. So when I first learned how to knit, this is like a step of how you knit. I had it all in purple and stuff, so it made it easy so I knew when to knit. And then this is purling. So funny story, when I first purled, I thought you had to knit through the back to purl. So all my projects would ended up like the garter stitch, like all this, the garter stitch, when they were supposed to be ending up like this, which is purling because I kept doing the garter stitch because I knit through the back. But when I read this book again and I looked closer and I read it, it said to put it in the front, and I didn't see that it was supposed to go through the front, which is kind of funny. Funny because I think maybe because it said backwards right here, I thought you had to go through the back. I don't know. It was like a little weird. Weird. So when I first started knitting, a lot of my projects would end up like all garter stitch because I didn't know how to do the purl stitch back then until I read my knitting book better, and I found out how to do the purl stitch. And then once I got better, I got to make so many great things. Like these hats. This one is my newest addition. I actually just made this a couple weeks ago. This one I made like back in January. This one's probably my favorite beanie. I like how comfy it is. It's really cute too. This is like my favorite beanie. It's so much fun to wear. And this is my, whoops. Sorry about that. And this is my newest addition. I just actually made this one. This one's my other favorite one. I got to make this one and stuff. This one was actually knitted in the round. Sorry. This hat was actually knitted in the round, and it was super fun to do. Yeah, so once I learned the purl stitch, I got to make so many great hats and scarves that required the purl stitch. It was awesome. And I've knitted like a bunch of other things. Like I've learned how to do cables. So this hat right here is cabled. It's got like a braided, twisted rope braid cable, and I really love it. I think it's really pretty, and I really liked. And I also learned how to do like the seed stitch, which is like knit one, purl one, and then you knit the purl stitches and purl the knit stitches. If that makes any sense. And that one was pretty fun to do because like you got to alternate after every couple rows. And I even made a blanket too. I even have it in this this drawer right here. If I can find it. Aha! Found it. So I even made this blanket. I made this my freshman year in high school. So this is super fun to make. I even made this blanket. I've also made a pair of yoga socks. I don't have a pair of socks too. Socks are really fun to make, but they're actually yoga socks. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. I'm part of a group text for work right now, and I think everybody's texting each other for work. Alright, so once I got better, I started doing more and more projects that were super fun and easy to that were super fun to do. Ow. Ow, sorry. Alright, and I got to do like, now that I've gotten better at knitting, I've learned how to cable. I've learned how to do like a bunch of hard stitches, like Fair Isle, which is knitting with different colors in the same row. So this is Fair Isle. Once I got better at it, I learned how to do this, which is when you knit with different colors in the same row and you have to follow a graph. This isn't really Fair Isle, but there's like a heart in the middle, which right here is Fair Isle, and I have a tutorial up for this on YouTube. And this was really fun to do because like you, instead of just knitting the entire row with one color, you alternate after every couple stitches, which is amazing. And it's super fun and easy. Knitting is super fun to do, and I would recommend it for those who are stressed out and who have a lot going on in their minds and a lot going on in their lives, because it's a really great stress reliever. It gets you creative and helps you have fun and gets your mind off things like school or work. Let's say you have a ton of work you gotta do and it's way too stressful right now, but it just helps you out and stuff, and just calms you down and makes you happy. Also, I forgot to mention, I started it, and because of knitting, I started a knitting business from home called Knitwit. Let me know if you guys want a more detailed story about that, because I don't want to tell it in this video, because this video will get way too long. And after knitting so much and selling it, I've made a lot of money with my knitting and stuff, and that's probably something you guys would probably look into if you are knitting and you want to make money. You can sell your knitting, and I've actually just recently started selling my knitting again, and I think it's really cool and it's super fun, and it makes me so happy seeing people love all the hard work love and effort I put into my knitting, because knitting is a fun way to make presents. Like, I used to knit a lot of presents for people, but now that I work, I don't always have a lot of time to do it, so I usually just buy my friends and family gift cards for my work, because I just never really have the time to actually put into knitting anymore. But I actually just recently knitted my mom a birthday present a couple months ago for her birthday. I knitted her a pair of yoga socks. Socks are really fun to make. And I have been knitting I've been knitting since I was 13 years old. And throughout the years, I've made a lot of money with my knitting, and I really enjoyed it because I love the creativity I get from it, and I love the fact that my friends and family love what I give them, and they love the effort I put into my work. It just makes me feel so good, and every time I knit, it helps relieve my stress. And I would recommend knitting if you want to get creative and start making presents and saving money, even though the yarn for the knitting costs a lot of money. But I just really would recommend it for if you're stressed or you need something to relieve your stress, because this is a great way to relieve your stress, be happy, and do something you would love to do and give to those you love, and just be happy to make something that you really like. So that was my experience in knitting. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry this video was so long, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye!